do I have a treat for you today? Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Coda Country Chats podcast. I'm Lee, your host. Thanks so much for being here. And with me on the episode today, we have American Idol royalty, Noah Thompson. How are you,
Hey,
Noah?
I'm good. How you doing? Doing good.
I'm doing so well. Listeners out there, Noah just dropped a new single after like a slew of new music that he's been putting out recently. Here
Mm-hmm.
lately just dropped on January 10th. And
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, Noah, here lately kind of hit me right in my feels because that's exactly how I'm feeling right in this moment. I know that this is like
Oh,
not supposed to be a personal thing.
I
Um,
love it. Make
but
it
one of
personal.
the
It's good. It's
yeah,
a good
one
thing.
of the lyrics that really resonated with me was about how my 2 feet don't even know which way to step in. I just think
Mm-hmm.
that's like so brilliant to think about
Mm-hmm.
that. Tell
Yeah.
me, what was the writing process like? Because I know you had a lot of friends working with you on that.
Yeah, man. Like, well, I actually, out of all the music I've been putting out recently, that song right there was like, I knew I needed some kind of uplifting side, and I've
Yeah,
told people this, frequently and stuff. But like, there needed to be a song that was, uplifting and kind of, there's still like a sense of hope and all of it, because I
yeah,
had
yeah.
written so many of these like dark, depressing, sad songs. So like,
That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. We
I
need
had
to
a
feel that too.
dream.
You know.
Yeah, I had a dream, and at that point in my life, man, when I wrote that song, I felt like everything was just kind of coming together. Like I felt like I'd
Yeah.
lost everything, and then things just kind of started coming back in my own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
For sure.
I had a dream, literally, and I had this melody in my head, and it was just this title called "Here Lately." I didn't really know if it was a song or what, but I just wrote it down on my phone,
Yeah.
and I held on to it because I thought it was just such a simple thing to say, but like I loved how simple, but also how like you can tie so many things in it, like controversially, like just with all the stuff I had going on at the time,
Yeah.
and I wanted to tie all those stuff in and all those things in, and like the next day when I had that dream, I had my two buddies that I wrote it with, and I went in there and told them about it, and like I don't really know if it's a song or what, but there's something in here, like it's like I've been doing all these things here lately, but like I feel like I'm found myself again. I'm here lately, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that whole idea. So, but I really do love the song, and I'm proud of it how it turned out.
I love it too. And I tell
Yeah,
you,
thank you.
it's a song about like growth for me. I feel like
Yeah,
when you were just talking about how it really it shows how far you've come and like where
yes,
you've been and
yeah,
not just like mentally, physically, emotionally, like
hmm
musically. I think like the growth of like your musical journey as like an independent artist now is just really starting to like blossom and develop and that
I
song is
appreciate that.
kind of pinnacle right now. I'm really yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's really good to
thank you
hear.
so much. That means the
Um
world for real.
yeah, absolutely. Well, and then I did kind of want to talk with you a little bit about being a songwriter in general because I know that you
Yeah,
also have like really big rights and really big songs that may be released by other people. One of the ones I want to talk about with you is Front Door Famous
yeah,
on Father
yeah,
and Sons by Luke Combs. Tell
yeah.
me what that was like because I guess my question is, was that a song specifically written for that album, or was it one that was just kind of like tossed around, one that you might have done? Tell
Yeah,
me all about that.
that song. Honestly, that song to me is just that has song's been nothing but a blessing because like when I swear to God, when I first moved to town, that was one of the very first songs I got to write. You know what I mean? With
Wow.
people, yeah. As and I obviously never thought in a million years I would be having a Luke Combs cut or whatever, but like
Yeah.
the time frame of everything that had happened, like that song, yeah, we had written it like I'd say like probably going on about 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I always loved that song, and I listened to it a million times. It's just at that specific point, I didn't really know what I wanted to say as an artist, and I wanted to
Hmm.
let people in on who I was, but I didn't know how.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's what it come down to is me becoming independent and kind of going through all the things I went through, and then starting to write about those things, because realistically that was in a lot of senses that was kind of my upbringing and everything also, so like it was
Yeah.
easy to write about those things, and it's
Hmm.
easier to talk about that stuff, a lot easier than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
trying to go against the grain for a long time, if that makes any sense.
Oh,
But
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, but like that song, man, like that, he obviously had no intentions on something like that happening, but I think, and one of the buddy I wrote it with, his name's Nick Columbia. He actually had the title, and we wrote that, and like, he's so hard headed that he just believed in that song, and he went to his publishers. And what I was told, he just told them like, look, this is a Luke Combs song. After like 2 years, and we're like, yeah, it's a Luke Combs song. Them not really thinking much about it.
Right.
And they sent it over to one of the people that Luke writes with, and supposedly Luke had walked in as while the guy was playing the song, and Luke was like, "What's that?" You know what I mean? So it kind of caught his attention, and they're sitting there talking about it, and then he ends up cutting the song. So I don't know, man. I just think that's a God thing, So
that is a God thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
and it's crazy how little things like that can happen, or somebody can just walk in a room and then like change the whole life, change perspectives. It's crazy.
Exactly. It
well,
is,
and
man.
I brought that up, and I asked about like the timeline as far as that goes, because I was watching something. It was an interview with your American Idol friend, Luke Bryan, about how he has a cut with Luke Combs on that Father and Sons album. Because, like, there's a song.
Really?
Yes, there's a song from, like, way back in the day that Luke wrote with, like, a couple other songwriters. But yeah, that's why I was wondering. I was like, was it written specifically, or was it one that you just like they grabbed and cherry picked?
Right.
So that's really interesting.
I didn't even know that. No, I didn't even realize I didn't realize Luke Bryan had a cut on there. That's cool.
Yeah, I do my research. Anyway,
that's
talking
awesome.
talking about Luke Bryan, I am going to touch a little bit on your American Idol journey. And now let's see. Okay, so season 20, right? You and Hunter Girl made it to the finale. I think that's awesome that you were both country influenced, and now you're still rocking it out in the country music world. I want to talk a little bit about your audition. I know that's crazy, and it's like probably a long time to think about. And you sang...
It's all a lot to think about. Every bit of it. So there's nothing you can ask me. It's gonna throw me off. You're good.
Well, good. Okay. And you sang Cameron Marlowe's "Giving You Up," which is an amazing song. Like, your vocal on it was spot on. Talking about Luke Bryan, I thought that was the funniest thing. He said something to you about singing the song, like the chorus again, and singing the words more deliberately. Like, I'm listening back to that, and I'm like, what does he mean by that? Did you know? I don't know. What was he asking you for in that moment?
Honest to God, man, when that had happened, like, dude, I walked in that room, and like, I can still, hell, I still have dreams about it. I can walk in there and it's like you almost feels like you put a VR headset on because it feels so unrealistic. It's like, oh my God, And you're in this like white room. It's like you just walked into heaven or something, you know what I mean? And the room's glowing. And Katy Perry, Luke Bryan, Lionel Richie, they're sitting there glowing. It's a whole thing. But like, I walked in like, I just, honest to God, man, I just tried to do my best because I had no idea. Truth be told, I didn't know how to sing or anything. I had my buddy we got on there so quick and so fast. We just we didn't really know what to expect out of that the whole scenario, we jumped on it. We were like, okay, yeah, man, American Idol, let's see what happens, and I'm just this scared kid,
Aww.
Seriously, yeah, and like that's the reality of it. I was just scared to death, and we got on there, and I was just kind of hoping for the best, and obviously wanted to get a gold ticket. I was stoked. I had done won, by getting a gold ticket, Obviously didn't expect it to go all the way that it did. So like it was obviously a very, very much of a blessing. But like yeah, man. But Luke, all the judges, they're great, and they're good people, and they were very good to me.
That's really great.
So, yeah.
So flash forward from 2022 to now 2025. Oh my God, that's crazy.
I know.
And you've had all these songs released. Upbringing, American Dream. Let's talk a little bit, because I know I have a very limited time with you. Let's talk about let's talk about the development of American Dream into Upbringing, and kind of how that started to formulate your sound now.
Yeah, man. I think, coming straight off of the show, obviously I put out my first project, and it was just kind of this short EP, and I didn't really know what it is that I didn't know what it was that it took to be an artist, or like, what it is I had to say to really set myself up in the industry and show people who it is that I am. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to do all that stuff. and going through those motions of, putting myself in this mindset, like where after putting that out, like it put me in a kind of a dark place, man, because I was like, God, like what is it that I need to say? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's just like you want so bad to do your best, especially in music, because for me this is all it's ever been. It's just music,
Mm-hmm.
all I ever wanted was to do music my whole life, but I just didn't know how to get there.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
does.
Mm-hmm.
I had American Idol never happen, I wouldn't be able to be in Nashville or do any of this.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't be in the cards for me. I wouldn't have been able to do it. I have my little boy and everything. So like, yeah, becoming independent. Um, I think that was the biggest thing I could have ever done, becoming independent, because I wrote a bunch of songs as soon as I became independent, and they all tied right in with what I wanted to say and who I wanted to be. Like
Yeah.
upbringing was my coming back song, because it's like such a statement song,
Yeah.
and like
Absolutely.
I wrote that song, and like I listened to it for probably a solid 6 7 months on just a demo, you know what I mean? With this
Mm-hmm.
crappy vocal on it. I just listened to it over and over. And I fell more and more in love with the song every time I listened to it. You know what I mean? I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm not getting tired of this. That's really kind of
That's
telling me
good.
something. And
Yeah.
yeah, we ended up shooting a video for it and everything. So like,
Mm-hmm.
but from that point on, I knew, especially with this first realm of songs I'm doing now, man, I want them to all feel very, real and just, authentic to me,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously, it's more of like a, you know, I'm telling stories, yeah, but it's a specific project album. It's like, everything's making sense sonically where it's all going, and obviously the storyline is kind of in that same vein, with everything going on too. So that's been
Yeah.
my main, you know, my main agenda as I'm writing songs and what I'm doing with them.
It's 100% perfectly you, and that's
Yeah.
the best way to showcase it.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. And I think there's a whole, and what I realize now is like there's a whole class of people out there that really do understand what I'm saying. And
Absolutely.
I guess for the longest time, I put myself in this mind space where, people ain't gonna get what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody understands that. You know what I mean? Or whatever, just weird crap like that. So like now, you can watch it just come to life with the songs. Because you get the messages and everything, how people relate and everything. It's neat, man. It's cool to watch it happen. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I know that our listeners are going to go out and they're going to go find you if they haven't already, because I mean, you're amazing.
Uh,
So, listeners out there, Noah Thompson Music on Instagram. Let me ask you this before you hop off: is there
yeah.
anyone that you would like to give a shout out to, or anything else that you wanted to talk about today?
Oh man. I mean, not anything in particular. Not anything in particular. I'm not the best at it, but I appreciate you having me on and everything and taking the time. I do. I appreciate that. More than you know.
Absolutely. And this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for
Yes,
spending
ma'am.
time with me today. Listeners
Yeah.
out there,
Thank you.
go stream Here Lately by Noah Thompson that just dropped on January 10th. And y'all have a great day. Thank you, Noah.
You got yes, ma'am. Thank you.